Well, hello, and thank you for joining us here today. We're going to be discussing the new EFRA brand logo and the title RC Motorsport Europe. We're also going to be talking about how it fits into the various stages of the development plan. And of course, I'm very happy to be joined today by EFRA President Javier Garcia. Hello, Javier.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
How are you?
Well, I have to say that this is one of the first time I'm a little bit nervous.
Really?
I think, yeah. I'm so excited to see exactly what happened today and the things that we're talking about. So really, I'm excited and I want to show what happened today.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting times for EFRA, isn't it? It's amazing that even in these challenging times, we can make time to find ways to move forward and keep pushing.
Yeah, of course. One of the good things, if I can say that COVID get the good things, of course not, but is that we have time to move forward in that part. Of course, is the work that we did during the last year is completely hide because we didn't have nothing to show to the RC community. But I think this is the first time or first step of, I want to say, the new era.
Yeah, the new era. And on that subject, soon we will be revealing the new brand in a special heritage clip that we have prepared. But I thought it would be good to recap first just how this fits into the wider plan. And it's a wider picture that we call the EFRA development plan. So just very briefly, what is the EFRA development plan?
Well, the EFRA development plan is a project, a huge project, where we are going to get all the things that we normally do in the European Federation under revision, with the aim of modernization all the structure about and around the RC world. So this is more or less in the big words, what is the plan? So the plan wants to cover everything around the RC, and we have to rethink about what we are doing, of course, respecting the heritage that we did during the last 40 years. So I think this is a challenging task, I think.
Yeah, and it's an exciting one. Why do you think EFRA needs a development plan?
Well, when we started all the working group of the development plan inside the EFRA board, when we start with the project, we have to find the reason, as you said, why. So, and we find several reasons to work on that plan. I think the first and one of the most important is because EFRA needs to connect with the new generation of drivers. And I think it's so important, starting from the base again, come back to the local clubs, come back to work with the federation. The second one is to put in common all ideas in the document. So you know that development plan is a big picture, but it's important to put in paper, to put in common, and to see the whole picture in one document. And of course, EFRA is part of IFMAR, must help IFMAR to keep the pinnacle of RC in the RC community. So we are here because IFMAR is here and we have to support IFMAR. And of course, finally, because we have to keep alive the DNA of EFRA expressing in their constitution. And I think it's for good reason with that to start with that plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that stands out to me in what you say is that it's identifying the important things within EFRA that should never change, the heritage, the sportsmanship, the whole ethos, but there's the things that have to change, and we have to identify them in order to modify and move with the times.
Exactly. It's like a company. So you know that we are a non-profit association and we are working mainly with passion, but also we cannot forget that we are the structure like a company. So we have to provide the news that people expect in the new era. So this is something that every company did in the past or normally in the normal day of day. So now it's time of EFRA in that part. And I think this is the first step, and this is the first step forward, visible step forward, because we started a year ago.
Of course, yes. And so that brings us to the first step, which is the rebranding project, which was a big task, really, and one that we knew we had to handle with care. It's not simply about just modifying, throwing out what we have in the past and just chucking something new in. It's about taking what we have and making something that is authentic to what EFRA stands for, and is in keeping with all the work that's gone before us. So we knew that this project we really had to handle with care.
Yeah, of course. I totally agree with you, Matt. And also because we have to respect the heritage of EFRA, that's completely clear. But everybody knows that the brand, the branding, the logos is one of the first steps to see a visible change in every association or company. So we have to handle with care. And also we have to keep all the feedback provided from the RC community, not only for one vision or in one federation. So that the working group that you know, that you work very hard in that part, you know what important is.
Completely. And speaking of the working group, this is just some of the people who gave of their time in the endeavor of trying to sort out the whole process and just oversee what we were trying to achieve. Gave of their time. There's more people than this image captures, but I think it's really important that this is not done inside of EFRA. The working groups, the whole point of the working groups are to step outside and to bring in representatives from all relevant areas around the sport.
Exactly, that's the main idea, and I have to say that the working group of the logo was the let's say the first experiment of the working groups in EFRA. So we got to catch all the feedback from different areas, from professionals, because I think we need a professional like you, like Mao, and I want to thank for that work, and also from the industry, that I think they have a lot of experience, and we need to take care about their opinion. Of course, the federation, representatives of the federation, because they are important, and also some other feeling like drivers and media like Chris, and also drivers federation. I'm thinking about in Nicola Marone from Hot Race, on Alessio, Jessica Paulson. So it's a lot of feedback from different areas, and for sure also from representatives inside of EFRA. So just to make sure that we are getting the right step.
Exactly. Yeah. And also it's the point is that this is important and needed by all of those groups. I think everybody needs for RC to move forward, and EFRA needs to be at the forefront of that. So we need to be moving forward for the benefit of the racers, for the benefit of the media, for the benefit of the manufacturers. It's for the benefit of everyone that this happens. So it's only right that they're involved at every stage of moving forward. Exactly.
That's our concern in that plan. So we can understand that somebody from some area tell that, okay, that's to make a logo is easy. You can call to the company, put the logo, or even take decision. Why EFRA is getting so slow to take decisions? Well, I think I don't want to say that sometimes we are moving quickly, more quick than I imagined in the past. Because that's my theory, or that's the theory that we have. If you have a small company and you are on a small cake, or in the general cake of RC, if you want to take decisions, you are taking decision in a small circle. So it's easy to take decision in a small circle. Okay, you take decision, it's your responsibility, and that's it. But the thing that the EFRA want to achieve here is to move the whole cake. So it's to move forward the whole cake. For that reason, we need everybody involved. So,
indeed, yeah.
Because I'm not talking about to make the cake bigger. That, of course, I hope that the plan could achieve that also. But if we want to move forward the complete cake. So I mean the RC community. That's the reason for RC Motorsport Europe, because we want to move all together at the same time. So we need drivers, we need federations, we need industry, we need every media, of course, because the professional must be there to provide the good quality of content in different areas. That's our concern, and this is something that is not quick. So we need, of course, we will create some expectations, and at the same time we create some frustrations. But it's like this: we have to move the cake. That's the message.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, RC Motorsport Europe. We established this fairly early on, RC Motorsport Europe, as a good kind of title for EFRA, to cover just what it is that EFRA presides over, and also as part of being more kind of clear to people that don't understand RC that it is motorsport, and to give people clues of what it is that we do.
Exactly, because we want to achieve people from all over, of all different areas. So we want to motivate the drivers, the current drivers that we have. We want to get more drivers, but also we cannot forget that still we can get fans. Fans means that people who are maybe not interested in RC, but maybe we can join us. Maybe we can get fans. So we have to provide a good sentence, that this sentence is thanks to all members of the working group, that, you know, Matt, the discussion about what would be the best sentence. And it's easy to say, hey, just a sentence. Yeah, but this sentence make months of discussions.
Yes, yeah.
You know that.
There was many different directions that it could go in. Yeah. And we examined all of them. And actually one thing that was integral to our decisions was actually listening to a second group of people. And these were people from completely outside of RC. People away from the track, people that have no clue about RC, just young people. I guess in some ways our target audience, the new generation that don't necessarily know anything about RC. And actually I've got a little clip to show you. We took to them the original or the current previous EFRA logo and asked them what do they think it's about.
Probably, is it travel?
Is it like an environmental group?
Could be like worldwide.
It looks like maybe a charity.
Something about travel.
Yeah, something for like the planet.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you see that people had no clue.
Yeah.
People had no clue, and it's on us to spread the word outside of RC. So they're kind of a target audience for us. Also, we looked into we did some research into just what people know about RC. You know, it's very hard for us as inside the sport to be able to separate what we know about EFRA with what somebody who's just seeing EFRA for the first time, what they see. It's very hard for us to imagine an knowing EFRA. It's almost impossible, which is why we work with this outside group. And we discovered that actually a lot of young people don't even know what an RC transmitter is. We showed them images and they had no clue. Yeah. No clue at all, which to us, we thought, we'll put a transmitter in the logo and then that'll explain everything. Yeah. Turns out it caused more confusion than ever.
Yeah, exactly. You know that the meeting that we had and the different directions, somebody get the feelings that the transmitter in the logo could be good. And others say that is not so important. So finally, we find a good way, and we have a good branding, I think, in my opinion, visible with a sentence that everybody can understand, related with the motorsport, RC, because I think that the RC word become more important because we need to promote RC, 2 letters, but means everything for us. And we have to spread those 2 letters around Europe to try to convince new generation that the RC is a good sport to start, it's a good sport for families, and it's a good sport if you want to be professional also one time, if you have the skills and have the motivation to do so.
Yeah, all right. In the next few moments, we are going to show you the reveal of the new brand. Before we do, I want to say we're watching out for your comments. Get any comments coming into us, and we will, of course, do our best to answer them and come back to you. There's also going to be ways coming up later in the stream that you can get involved with the next working group, and we'll give you all the details about that. You might be thinking, how is this all going to happen in practical terms? You know, it's great to change the brand, but what are you going to do next to take that brand outside of RC? Those topics we're going to cover as well soon. But I wanted to show you, before we reveal the brand, I wanted to show you, we did show the new logo to that same group who saw the previous logo and had no clue what it was about. And this is what they thought.
It's sport.
Yeah, something to do with like motors and electric
Cars,
stuff.
probably.
Yeah.
It's to do with motorsport, isn't it?
So obviously it's something to do with like motor, so like engines, cars,
Formula One type of thing.
Oh, so do cars,
like racing.
Remote control.
Formula One.
racing cars.
Is that like remote control or something like that?
I think remote control sounds about right.
You can tell it's more sporty.
Like Formula One.
Motorsport.
Europe, so it's going to be like within Europe.
The letters just look like racing.
Oh, it is remote control. It seems like a remote control for the race motorsport.
So there we have it.
Yeah.
I think it achieved something with them. Hopefully, the RC fans will also connect with the new brand. It's a big moment.
Yeah. It's a breaking point. You know that it's connecting the people who never related with RC with our normal drivers, our normal community. So I think that's challenging, really challenging, and I never respect the different feedback that we got in that time, and I think I have to say I was involved, but just from different angle, just as a server, and of course I get my opinion, but the experience of the working group was amazing. So feel that you are working for something that it could be big and something that it could be useful for the RC community. But don't forget that this is the main issue. We are not a company who want to get profit or want to get money from all around the RC. We're looking to keep RC for the future, for the next generation. And I feel amazing with that working group, and for sure it won't be the last, and more will come for sure.
Excellent. Now, before we play the clip, a lot of the clip focuses on the heritage of way back to the 70s, everything that's led to this point. Why do you think it's important that we include so much of our history in what we do?
Well, because as I said, the respect of the heritage and the heritage, is so important, because we are here. Thanks for those guys. Thanks. I don't want to forget anybody, because all was there. Because I think about starting for Ted Lonsgard, Dallas as a EFRA president, Gary Culver, and also in the past big names of drivers. Sander de Graaf is institution in the RC. So we are here thanks to them, and the base that we got is thanks to them. So imagine in the 70s, when nothing exists and nobody knows exactly about what is an RC track, they put the limits, they put the asphalt, they put the safety rules, they put everything on place. Now we have a handbook thanks to them, and all those things that people forget many times is thanks to them. So we are here, and we can move forward thanks to that. So we have to respect that. Respect that doesn't mean that we don't have to modernize to modernize the things that we are doing. So it's just to say, hey, thanks guys, you did a great job, and I feel that suddenly some presidents are not here with us, but I'm sure that if we want to put all the EFRA presidents at the same table, I think everybody could be agreed that we are doing, and this is one of my motivations.
That's fantastic. Shall we take a look at the new EFRA brand?
Yeah, please.
Shall we do it?
I have the skin like that, so please.
Let's go. And there we have it.
Wow.
There we have it. Thank you to everyone who's been watching along with us so far. Dario Balestri says, come on, Javier Garcia, with plenty of thumbs up emojis. Alessio Mazzeo says, ciao. Alan Tipler says, it's great news to hear that the sea is coming into the future. Vasily says, great job, guys. Very good. So keep your comments coming in and questions. We want to hear them. We're moving things forward, Javier. It's good times.
Yeah. Really, I saw the video, I saw the video, I think 50, 60 times, I don't know, but still excited when I saw the video, because it's something that we have in mind a lot of times. So it's the first step that you can see. And of course, this is the first step. People don't think that this is okay, that's it, this is the logo, and continue doing the same thing. No, this is the first step. So now, more than ever, we need people involved in that project. So because I think it could be something amazing.
I think it's worth, this is not just about us giving ourselves a round of applause by any means. This is I guess is an attempt to communicate and bring you all inside EFRA so that we can kind of have these communications, maybe even more often. But we can reflect the comments, both positive and negative. And Ivan Bingen says it took over a year, and that's all you did. Now I think that's fair enough, but I think, and you've already touched on this, Javier, why it's important that things take time to change within EFRA. But I think it is worth going over again. The fact that if you have a small private race, a small event, you can change the rules as often as you like. You can change them at lunchtime, and it's different in the afternoon.
Yeah, of course.
Because if people don't like it, they can leave. But there is only one European Championships. It's not that we can say, if you don't like it, leave. We have to represent a whole organization, and with a ship this big, you can't take tiny turning circle and just go to the left. It has to be a smooth turn to take everyone along board.
Yeah. As I said, so this time means, or this project means that, as I said before, we want to move the whole cake. When I say cake, whole RC community move forward. So I think this is the impulse that we need. So EFRA is just put the idea is, hey guys, this is what we want to do. We want to support IFMAR in the worldwide races, and we need everybody. So this is the reason, because we have to be smooth, and sometimes things are not so fast that we want, because federation for us is so important, because if we want to create some national programs to help drivers, to help kids, we need them. We need also them to modernize the whole RC community. And I think this is a call for federation to modernize their structure and to get the motivation to coming back again to create brilliant races and brilliant nationals, because I think it's from that point we'll start. Let me tell you about exactly what happened right now, COVID-19. This is the worst thing that I can live in my life. So, but talking about RC, everything will start in the local level, regional level, national level, and we come back stronger in European and worldwide level. So for that, we need all people together, and that means that we will be smooth and no faster than everybody can think about. They could be faster, because I think we have to take all the sensibilities inside us. Yeah.
EFRA is a reflection, and it is the formation of the federations, the nations, right down to local clubs and individual races. It's not just us. We could make things happen quite quickly if it was just us that we had to satisfy, or just us that we were representing.
Exactly.
This is a lot of history on this. It's a big responsibility. Yeah. More comments coming in. Martin Thurston says, looks great. Chris Cherry says, brilliant. Keep your comments coming in. Joseph M. French says, great job, Javier. Questions, we're going to answer as many questions as we can get through towards the end, so keep putting them in the stream. And there's going to be ways where you can get involved on the next development, on the next project. We want to hear from you on that. The most exciting thing about the development plan for me is that everything is on the table. I think people outside wouldn't realize how much is on the table. Yeah. It's quite scary, actually.
Yeah. Sometimes a lot of discussion will be on the table, and still a lot of discussion about, because everything is under revision. I mean, talking about, I know that later on we're going to talk about the next visible project that we're going to do. That is the live coverage. That I think it could be another amazing project. Which means that this new project will change more things on the T. So, but coming back with that, everything is under revision with the aim to modernize. Don't want to change everything, because a lot of, as I said before, the base is good. So we have to modernize, and we have to be different things in different areas, and of course, new things in new areas, like kids. I think I have a lot of motivation with kids, Matt. I think it is the key part of that. We need, I got a lot of feedback, especially because I'm here and I have a good contact from Spain. I know that ICAR from with the kids, and also local clubs in Spain are doing a great job in Malaga, in Gijón, about with the kids. So we don't lose that power that people are doing in the clubs. So we have to moving in the way of a federation, and of course EFRA will be there to provide people that are our future RC stars. So for that, it's very, very, very important, and I think it's. I'm glad to see the good feedback, even the negative one. So it doesn't matter that people have negative. As I said before, when you want to change something, automatically you are creating expectations. I did in my company, in the plans that I did in my company years ago. You are creating expectations, but at the same time you are creating frustrations. That's normal. That's normal, because everybody could not be happy, but we are here to make happy to the majority, and that's for the reason to get the RC community, as I said, associate member. That another great project that pending for them. Because we need the industry support the ideas, because it's a win-win project, and I think we need to continue in that line. Also for media, I would like to take a minute to thanks to Matt, to you, Matt, and Control, and of course RC Racing TV for the work that you did during these years, and the work that you are doing with the aim to provide the best quality of content. And for sure, the project that we have together in the future.
Indeed. And like you say, I think some of the criticisms are actually motivators. Make us, push us, yes, by all means. Make us work faster and harder. And we do everything we can. But I think the key thing that we agree is that it's so important to respect our heritage. It's so important to not throw out everything that's been created. But moving with the times is vital for survival.
Exactly. Yeah. As I said before, I don't want to repeat, but sometimes we have to take a difficult, let's say, decisions. I imagine that I'm on the table with all the EFRA president. So I think, what could think Dallas about that? I didn't know the others, but because suddenly I couldn't. Gary Culver, a few conversations with him, but I try to imagine what happened if everybody could be on the same table. I think it's the right decision. Okay, go ahead.
That's a really good way of looking at it. People are wondering, just for some like practical ideas of what might be on the table. And whilst nothing is set in stone, and none of these things, I'm not expecting to reveal some guarantees, but I think it's worth giving people a little exclusive insight into some of the things that do get discussed in these working groups. Things like opening ceremonies could be completely modified, completely changed.
Yeah, of course. I think this is something that we have to keep, as I said, with the heritage, because we have to modify exactly the way that we are doing. Exactly, we have a packet, we have a sub-project which cover opening ceremony and prize ceremony. We have to make a standardization about the prize ceremony, and of course we have to get more fashion the opening ceremony, try to adapt the opening ceremony to the current times. So I know that sometimes, because I attend a lot of races, people are busy with their cars. Okay, I have to put the T-shirt and go to the opening ceremony and blah blah blah. So, but we have to get this kind of motivation for drivers to say, hey, I cannot forget, this is a special day today. But we have a lot of ideas on the table, and also the standardization of the prize ceremony, because we have to consider a big sport. If you say the big sport like MotoGP, Formula One, have a standard, and we have to cover this standard, and maybe sometimes we are late in the opening ceremony, in the prize ceremony, so we have to keep an eye on that. Yeah.
Things as even as like when we're talking about taking the sport outside of RC, when we're looking for different initiatives, so many things are being discussed with regards to taking the sport to young people. There's an ambassadors concept even, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. That we have a lot of ideas. Later on, we talk about the live coverage, because I have a good hope about the live coverage could improve in order to create a good package. But also another project on the table, and it is a call for people that could be interested to be an EFRA ambassadors. I think we are here because I meet a lot of drivers, a lot of people inside the RC community that is a great ambassadors of it's of EFRA ambassadors, so to represent EFRA, but it's represent RC. I have a lot of names in my brain that I don't want to say anyone, but I have a lot of great names that could be a good ambassador for EFRA and good ambassadors for RC. And we need these kind of people to represent RC, to create a good atmosphere and a lot of followers of RC, even fans. So I think ambassadors could be one of the next visible projects that we are introducing in the EFRA development plan.
And things like working with these people to create content in their own arenas to their own audiences that helps promote the sport, and maybe going to events and schools and different ways to work with these people to spread the word.
Exactly. Exactly. They have some of them. They have the enough popularity inside the RC community, or inside even we're considered ambassador outside of RC, because we have a connection for some people now outside of RC with connection with the RC in the past that could be a good ambassador for EFRA, and automatically can duplicate or triplicate exactly our repercussion in the RC completely for schools and for everybody. And also people who are inside of RC community can represent, because automatically when they post something, automatically people are followed. So I think it's this kind of EFRA ambassador, talking about the technical, talking about, I have a good video about the feeling psychologically about races, how to prepare races for one of the drivers. I think is, and I don't know if it's here, is Bruno Coelho, talking about how to prepare psychologically races, about how do you feel on race. This is something that we need. I think is great.
Definitely. And I think as part of that outreach, stepping out, we also want to bring the RC community closer to EFRA, to be more transparent and be kind of open and communicate much more often what it is, the progress that EFRA is making, the internal discussions. And for that, we're working on a project called Inside EFRA, which is kind of like a monthly activity, which will be sent out to people just to give a kind of roundup of what it is that's happening. It started last month, and you can sign up for it on the EFRA.ws webpage.
Exactly. That's the roundup, the newsletter. So it's still pending this the final name, but it's something that is a roundup where everybody can put, starting with the federation. If the federation create content, automatically we're uploaded in this roundup. Drivers tips, even for the associate members, we are going to create a part of in this roundup to introduce the new products inside of this roundup, and also the general news that EFRA and their section chairman can provide during the month to keep informed the RC community. That's I think that the next visible step. So because this year we have 5 goals, and I think is month by month, you can see visible steps in that area.
Even potentially this activity we have now with a live stream that's interactive with questions, discussion that can be happen in an open forum like this. This could be a more regular activity as well.
Yeah, of course. This is something planned during the year. In the last virtual AGM with the Federation, we agreed that we have to keep in contact in internal communication between Federation and EFRA with Zoom tool about to take fast decision, because sometimes one of the criticisms that we can get for EFRA, okay, that's 1 year to get some, okay, maybe not decision but feelings and keep updated from Federation to EFRA. So lack of communication sometimes is an issue. So now we have the tool who provide communication, internal communication between EFRA and Federation, but also next step is from EFRA to the public, to the general public with this kind of live. That's easy if you want to get a big topic, or we want to information, or RC community wants to provide to get information. Just a live streaming is easy to connect with people.
Exactly, yeah. And now to take two key issues that we need to ensure that racers attending events have the best possible experience. Like the experience of taking part in an EFRA event should be the best it can possibly be. And there are some great events and so many experiences I've had, but these are another example of things that can progress the actual racing experience.
Yeah. I think it's on the table are everything related that the experience that we can provide to the drivers. We always cannot forget that this is a European championship. When people attend EFRA races, is a European championship. The competition is the high level in Europe, so the tension is there. The tricky situation, the drama, if you want to say, is there because decisions have taken by officials or points of the drivers or different circumstances that we can find on the race. But on the other hand, in general, we have to improve the experience of the drivers from the beginning when people register, that they're thinking about another sub-project inside the development plan is to create a mobile application where everybody can see easy contact, because if you download the application in your mobile phone, you can see exactly where is the race. If I'm registered by my federation, even the communication between federation and driver can be used by this mobile application. So here start the experience. Online start the experience. And then this experience must be translated or go to the offline experience. That offline experience means when you are on the track must be dressing, the track must provide everything needed. So we are review completely and modernize the checklist that we are going to get a European championship. There is something that we're going to do, and this is just on the table right now in the project number 2, the official that we are going to be on the track. Well, it's a lot of work. I can start talking about, Matt. I can start. And maybe 3 hours later, still there.
Yes. I think that's the important, that the actual real experience of racing in EFRA Euros is paramount. But what we then do as media, as the coverage and the presentation, the physical in terms of banners and just how it all looks, that is part of providing the federations with a tool to promote the experience of racing to their own countries.
Exactly.
So we're also creating the tools to sell this wonderful experience that we're also working on at the same time.
Exactly, and for that we need federation involved. So I think is that's the key part. Of course, we have to make agreements with the professionals like you in your company, like you in your area, like of media. But also, if you want to dress the track, even we can help a federation in that area, even with the associate member, creating the value needed to not just to be associate member for some homologation product. So the industry can have to see what is the benefit to be associate member. We're going to stabilize different associate levels, level of associate members, to create also a good experience for these associate members, which means that in the live coverage, I want to talk about live coverage because this is the visible step. But anyway, I would like to provide the dressing track with all the banners and the associate member inside, but not just on the track, also on the website, also on the mobile application, and even we need the industry when I'm talking about kits, because finally we'll finish on the schools, we'll finish in our races, we will need kits. So at least one of the days of the Euros must be dedicated to the kits. And for that, we need industry and we need federation to provide those kits on the track, because they know the national rules or schools. So that's an amazing project, really.
Yes, yeah, indeed. And we're going to get on to the live coverage and promotion working group in a minute. I'll also go through some comments that have come in. But I think one thing that kind of explains when we're looking at taking all of this experience and how we provide a tool to market that experience, it's it's an initiative we're calling RC and Me. And basically what that is we respect that the backbone of RC is clubs and hobby shops in many ways, the same way as it always was. For RC, competitive RC to work, there has to be local clubs. And very, very positive if there's local shops as well, which form a kind of hub of knowledge and products and stuff. And the clubs, vitally important. That should never change. You know, we're all becoming more fragmented. We're all doing things on our own, at home, away from each other. We're going to get back to racing in the same place. Yeah. And for that, we have to have clubs. But nothing can change about that. But to kind of reinforce those clubs, we have to find more modern ways in. Because the thing that won't change, but the thing that needs to change is how people find it, at their roots. The root was always father, son, mother, daughter, parent, child attending, because the parent did it, then the child does it, and the child gets faster, as we know. That's not happening anymore. The children are choosing something else. So we have to find a more modern route in, and that's why we're working with non-RC people to develop routes into RC.
Yeah, exactly. That's completely true. So in my generation, and I think is most of the people are following us, your father, your mother comes to the track with you because you are interested in RC, or even your father was a driver in the past. So you go to your local track, or even you go to the shop, buy a car, and the shop tells you, go to your club, and the club help you to set up the car and to put on the track, and then your motivation coming up. So we always had that defenders of this kind of routine. So that's it, the routines from the past. And now suddenly in that time we lose the base. We lose the base means we lose the kids, we lose the shops. Sometimes we lose the clubs suddenly. Still some passionate guys still running the clubs, or even some of the clubs are professional and in private clubs. But we have to start, and start is to be an approach of those kids. And sometimes, because I see my daughter on YouTube, maybe we have to start in YouTube channels with content for kids and try to get the motivation to say, hey, I would like to try. So if you see in some different areas, but it's so similar, like our RC drones. So people are so interested with drones. So we have to find a way to see exactly what they are doing in other areas close to us, and then try to copy if the things are good. Even with other organizations. So I think we know that we can find around Europe, even around the world, but especially we're talking in Europe, good races with good organizers. And I think we have to approach to be on the same umbrella. And I think it's important in that area to think about that we have to go all together to provide a good races experience in order to get more people on the tracks.
So it's on the table, and it's seen as a possibility in your mind that EFRA would work with pre-existing non-EFRA events potentially.
Yeah, everything could be on the table. At the moment we cannot refuse anything. So we have to put on the table, and we have to find the ways to cooperate in different ways. Of course, maybe we have different targets, but I suppose that one of them are in common. That is a RC passion, RC Motorsport Europe. I mean, so I think in that time we have to find a way to provide a good experience. A good experience means to provide cooperation, and I think cooperation is a good word.
Robbie9 says excellent effort. We've got lots of people watching, people being a little bit quiet, so get your comments and questions coming in. Now's your chance to ask a question. He's on the spot. We can put the president of EFRA on the spot and ask him a question right now. So send your questions in. Let's ask him.
All yours.
There's some interest in what it says on your mug, Javier. What does it say on your mug? You have some writing on your mug.
Well, yes, I have more things on my brain. You mean more things on the development plan, right?
No, I mean the writing on your cup, the cup that you were drinking tea from.
Cup. Sorry. You can start the day with happiness.
There you go. There you go.
Starting the day with happiness. Empieza el día con alegría.
Adam Reevy says it's great to see a live update. It's great to have Jacqueline AB watching. We have the treasurer with us.
Yeah.
Hi, Jackie.
important one.
Yes.
Because I think we're going to disturb her, I think, in the next years.
Paul Holden says we need more tracks and cheaper entry into RC. He's right. It's the cheapest motorsport to start in, but it's still quite expensive if you want to be very competitive, isn't it, RC?
Yeah. This is a good discussion that we have to put on the table. We cannot forget that when talking about the European Championship, it's the pinnacle in Europe. So if you want to participate in any race or any sport in the European level, everything could become expensive. But we have to provide, as I said, as you said in the racing experience, we can get racing experience in all levels. So if you want to provide national level or local level, regional level, in different prices, so maybe it could be cheaper. So if you want to go directly to the Euros, maybe you can say that it's expensive, but we have to go in different levels, and I think it's important. Or moving on in different classes, that also is important. On the table also another issue is to create starting classes. So I think it's important, like in Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP. So you can see even in the Formula 1. So why not? We can get a starting class, a cheap class, where everybody can participate in the cheap way with clear rules, in order to be cheap, in order to be fair, and in order to provide more racing experience in different prices level.
Indeed. We have Bjorn Holland watching. Great to have you with us, Bjorn, because we recognize your voice from many fantastic RC and EFRA events. So hope to see you saying you heard the lady at a track soon. Shall we get on to what's next, Javier?
Well, I think
Group 2,
the
event coverage.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's one of the next visible steps. And after the branding, I think we started a new working group. Yeah. And I think it's amazing working group. Yeah, you have not everybody is on the picture because it's more people. I think near of 20 or 20 something, right? I don't remember how many. But that's the first meeting that we have a month ago when we were starting to talk about live coverage, live experience, online live experience. So that's, as you said, and again, everything is on the table. We're talking about data, how to provide more data, more information on the screen. Talking about gap between drivers, talking about the racing format, because I think for the live cover, racing format could become very important, and also create a good packet, a good content to be outside of RC. in the way like MotoGP, Formula One, and other big sports. So we have to be close of that, and how to see. Of course, the budget on the resources could be completely different, but the idea could be the same.
Yeah.
And of course, I think is after the branding, the next step is the coverage, because the coverage will change a lot of things in our races, and we have to change rules, and we have to modify a lot of things. So you are the professional, Matt, so you can talk about more things. But for example, we are considering, and you can explain more deeply about that. We are considering to create 2 different teams in the live coverage. One team on the studio, maybe in one different country that we held the European Championship. Another team on the track, getting information, getting data. I think 5G could help us to provide data from the cars and automatically update it on the studio, and cooking something to provide to the people watching on live. But I think you are professional in that way. You can provide more info.
This central meeting, which was very, very lively meeting, which is exactly what you want of any group of people. If they're all passionate about a topic, it just has a life of its own. And I prepared, as I do for these meetings, some slides with points to discuss. And I never got past, it was 2.5 hours, and I still hadn't got past the first slide, because everybody was just so full of ideas and different subjects that wanted to be discussed. It was fun. It was challenging in some areas, but we don't want a group that's just our best friends that just say nice things. We want a group with real views to get better.
Exactly. We don't have a meet of friends to talk about online. No. It's a working group. Working.
Yeah.
The word working means work. So, this is exactly what that we need. People to say that this is wrong. This is wrong. We have to go in that way. We have to. I remember that I want to disturb you. That I remember your guideline of the meeting, and we didn't get. We only get the first point. So that's it. Yeah. So because we thought that it's a kind of a speech, okay, blah, 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 finish, okay, 2 hours and go home. After 2.5 hours, so 3 hours, still on the first point.
Yeah.
So this means one word, is motivation. People are motivated. And if you are invited from that side, because I think it's an amazing project for people who like the RC, who love our sport, if you are invited, you want to get your opinion. And it's time to get your opinion, because your opinion could be the next step forward.
Yes. And while we mention that, there is a link now in the description to this live stream to the Google form where you can go and give us your feedback on this exact subject. And we really want your feedback in time for our next group. I'm going to show you some of the feedback from the working group in a moment. But as Javier says, a big group, lots of passionate conversations in different directions. And so the group then splits into smaller groups. And for the broadcast side, I can say that Control is working hand in hand with RC Racing, which is no surprise. But we've also had meetings between Control, RC Racing, and Pullstart TV, who and Laszlo has absolutely pushed an amazing concept in what he does. And he has, in fact, used technology more than we have. And I think he's doing something amazing. And the key to the success in all this is that we work hand in hand. We're not rivals in this. We can work and learn from Laszlo and do everything we can with Pullstart TV to improve the coverage.
Exactly. It's the words that we said before, modernization and cooperation. I think it's the key word. So we are in the same boat. So we don't need to fight in that area, or we don't need to compete. Everybody could be a specialist. We have a skills good for the final product. And also, I don't want to forget the key point of the associate members in the live coverage. We need them because we want to provide a new experience for them with new value, because I think one of the targets of this development plan is that the industry see the value in that project. And I think that the live coverage, because it's the representation of what we are doing and is the best technology in the European Championship, I think there's time for them to provide the products because they really provide the products through the top drivers. But it's important to show the product that they are using on the live coverage. So I think this kind of advertisement for them as associate members could be a key point for us. Even also dressing the tracks, and dressing the track could help federation and clubs to get more funds in terms of advertisement. So I think it's a value chain that everything could be benefited. And I think that this is the point that we have to agree with everybody.
Yes, and as you alluded to before, it's very much the plan, and what we're hoping to make happen is a broadcast situation in which we have a studio at a studio, and then a team on the ground at the event, and those two teams will work together hand in hand to provide a shorter piece of coverage, but something that incorporates finals day afternoon and is much more clean cut, something that looks super professional and high end and like sports, the coverage that this high level of sports deserves.
Exactly.
So having and also the ability to bring in guests who are watching around the world to get their views and unpick bits of the race and have all those kinds of conversations that you would expect to see in a professional or a big motorsport like MotoGP. That's something that we're moving towards doing.
Exactly. If we want to modernize our coverage or our structure, also we have to make a step forward in that area, and we have to see exactly what the others are doing. Of course, budget and resources apart. But I think that, as I said before, because everything is linked, 10 years ago, when RC Racing TV started, the technology is something that it could be an issue to provide a good quality of coverage, and they did it. So this is a heritage also. The work that RC Racing TV did is a heritage for EFRA. So the technology are improving, and now we are allowed with the technology to do different teams. So which means more professional, because in a studio you have all your tools set up to provide content more or less on time or on live, and the other team still on the track providing content, interviews, live and everything. Maybe which means or will become to, because it's pending of discussion. I don't want to anticipate anything, but I think in the future the coverage could be focused on the live day show. So maybe we can see more the qualifications, or we can see practice or free practice. Maybe we lose, not lose. We see exactly the live coverage, but in different of coverage, and concentrate in the live show, because this packet could be export to other part outside of RC. That this is something that we want.
Yeah, completely. Now, when we get a group of people together who are all very passionate and care a lot about RC and EFRA's events, of course, there's many different views on what our priorities should be. And this is where we want you, people watching at home, to get involved. What I thought I'd do is I'd give you a little taster of what the group felt. After every meeting, we have a Google survey that goes out, and we ask people the members of the group, to just relay their feedback in short, bite-sized amount. And I want to just show you just 3 statistics of what the feeling was in the meeting. So when we asked the single biggest thing we should improve EFRA coverage, it's a very split bag on all the different things that could happen. You know, people want to see new improved timing on screen and more video features, but there's lots of different ways. Now, you might disagree with that feedback, and that's why it's important for you to vote on the Google form and give us your feelings. Another area we can talk about is, you know, we have to decide who our priorities are in this coverage. If we have a budget, if we have an initiative, who should we target with that first? Who is the most important? The current RC fans or the people who are new to RC? I guess we'd say, Javier, it's a kind of a mixture of the both. of the two.
Yeah, yeah. It could be different. It could be difficult to keep the balance, to be a good coverage for RC fans and good coverage for drivers who normally attend the races. Because sometimes this is eternal discussion about some people want to watch from the first round of free practice until the final. But I think we can agree that this is not interesting for RC fans who never see, who never watch RC in their life. So maybe short videos with the highlights, even small interviews, technical issues. So I think it's a great content around that we can play with.
Yeah, completely. Like I say, and like hopefully you've gathered by now, everything's on the table, and the views of so many people are really important to EFRA. And that's why these working groups include media, include federations, they include associate members who are manufacturers and other timing officials. We had MyLaps, which was quite cool. We actually had the 3 different timings companies attend the meeting. They're all rivals for different space.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. That's the amazing thing. So if you call for a timekeeping professional, I didn't expect that everybody could be interested. So, wow, MyLabs, my MC,
my RCM, yeah.
Sorry, my RCM,
Everlabs.
So everybody could be interested to provide new content because they are willing to provide this content. They have to create the atmosphere to do that, and they have to get the feeling also for the drivers. What you want to see, because as I said before, this is not a professional coverage only for the main final for the 10 Pro. No, we're talking about that if people go to their family and people go with the kid that is in the last position of the European Championship, they have right to see on the TV. So this is also that they have to take care. It's not a coverage for Pro, it's coverage for everybody. So it's nice to see. I have in my mind the video when talking about in Turkey, when you see a driver and mechanic, that mechanic was the kid and the driver was the 40+ driver. So it's amazing. So this kind of things we have to keep it because I think it's interesting content, and also the drama. All the sport has drama.
Of course, yeah, and the drama is what people find interesting. Of course, and something else that you can let us know when you follow the link to get involved is where you think and what kind of activities will connect with people on the outside. I think me and Javier and everybody know that we are not young kids. You know, we don't spend that much time on TikTok, for instance. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have a TikTok account, Javier?
It's close to be.
Yeah. So
yeah, because my daughter tried to make a video, but I don't know if my responsibility could be appropriate because the TikTok videos. But also I'm thinking about my daughter is thinking about in Twitch. So I think another social media. This for me is I'm old for that kind of social media, but they are there. So maybe in the future you can see me dancing or something like that in TikTok, or keep in mind.
Yes, I think actually a few people in the comments have been mentioning Twitch. Could be a really good place to look at for live streaming and finding a new audience, making new kind of parallels between RC and esports as well, because there's a whole move. Esports is massive. Drawing parallels between those two activities could be a good initiative.
Twitch is also. I normally ride cycling on road cycling, and Twitch is they have a lot of live streaming for e-sport in cycle. So I think I think something to consider. During the lockdown last year, we tried a small project with e-sport with BRC, and it's not completely closed. So maybe in future we can come back again.
Yes. So a few comments coming in. Hello to Scuderius Campirosso. It's nice to have you watching along with us. Vesa Ili, hello in Finland. As a racer, club president, race organizer, federation, active since '95. I see the lack of people getting involved in this hobby and afterwards into racing due to people at the clubs not able to deliver anything new, because clubs rely on very few people and have become overloaded long ago. And the effort is going to keep things rolling, but they're falling apart. So it's not only the young guys that we need to get into this hobby, but active people who are willing to take responsibility, spend time, help build tracks, maintain tracks, organize races, and promote the hobby. Actually, on the ground, I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, I think we have to, as I said in the beginning of the live, we have to provide a guideline for federations and for local clubs. So if in the top of the mountain, and we consider that EFRA could be in the top of the mountain, we have this kind of project, this project must be spread to the rest of the mountain. I mean, so last generation, my father's generation, on the last generation that who provide clubs, so they was there many years. So now we have the generation that I'm considered of 40 something. I think it's time to make a step forward to work with the federation, with the local clubs, and with the federation, local clubs, and even EFRA to join in that project. And this project wants to provide a guideline for them.
Indeed, yeah. Adam Reevy says, you've mentioned that you want to get more kids into RC. What about trying to organize more races at shopping centers? That makes me think of the 12 Worlds, which I think probably stands out in your mind as one of the highlights. Yeah. The 12 Worlds in Milton Keynes. Yeah, of course. We have to consider which classes are better to provide this kind of races in the big areas like malls and everything. Not all classes are it could be possible to do that. I imagine large scale in the big places, so the safety measures are important. But we have another classes that we can provide this kind of tracks, like in big malls or in centers, or even in the school centers is possible. So yeah, we have to review the classes, because now we have so many classes, which is good, but we can, let's say, use, I don't want to use this word, but everybody could understand that we want to use this class according to the interest that we can make. So 112 is a great class to be Euros on the malls, on the big popular centers. You can use another class as a starter class because are more cheaper than others. That is a pinnacle for speed or for professionalism that we have to move for professionals, and other class we can move for starters, for beginners. So this kind of, we can see the classes not at the same level, but we can see different classes playing different roles, and I think it could be the future. Andy Beaumont is saying maybe more interaction with other motorsport groups like Goodwood Festival of Speed, British Motor Museum, but obviously this is Europe-wide, so motorsport, full-scale motorsport events and things like that could be an option to look into. Yeah, of course. One of the key words in the project is to go outside of our RC world. But people have to know, when I say people, it's people who are not related to RC, the normal people, I mean. People have to realize that what we are doing, because I think everybody who are related with RC, when talk with people who are not, and asking, why are you doing, and you can see the cars and you can see what the technical car is, and people are amazing. So, and people, when I invited more of my friends who are not on the RC, are racing in my home track or even in the Euros because it's close of my hometown, automatically I say, wow, that's amazing. But people don't know, so we have to move outside of RC. Okay, different ways to move forward, but at least this is one of the goals that we have. Yes. We talked about having kind of heroes in RC, the idea of promoting the kind of maybe the ambassador level, or just the idea of RC racing stars and how they can be a role model for other people. On the flip side, Joseph M. French says it's important that all drivers must have 5 minutes of glory in the media, motivation for other drivers. So interviews with everyone, or interviews with a range of levels of abilities to show that, you know, it's not an exclusive activity and that it is actually welcoming to all abilities.
Yeah, I completely agree in that point. Even in the live coverage, we can consider, because one part of the European Championship is doing for competition. So finally, the main final is the best 10 drivers, and of course, this becomes so interesting for the people because it's the main 10 or 12 or 15 best driver in Europe. But on the other hand, we have not forget the amateurs. This is a kind of a sport who are, if you see the European Championship, the normal one, you can see more or less 15% of the drivers are, let's say, professional. When I say professional, means paid for the companies or even provide material from companies. But the other 80% are amateurs. So if you see the difference, we have to take care of the 80% of the drivers. So with a special content for them could be an issue, would be important to create as you said, 5 minutes of glory, or a special content. I mean, a special program or 30 minutes talking about the amateur, who is the best, who progressing during the race, who is the best, or who is the young, who is the older. So maybe we can see the difference. So a lot of ideas in that way, but of course we have to take care of 80% of the pool of the drivers in the European Championship. Yep. And also, I sorry for that, but I more ideas talking about in two ways. Talking about EFMAR. So people are in Europe who compete for the European Championship want to go to EFMAR. So EFMAR is is on top of the RC. And we have to support EFMAR, and we have to provide those best drivers in Europe to go to the World Championship. So all of this could be an amazing thing in the coverage.
Yeah. Hello to Keenan K. White of the No Name RC podcast, who's watching. I assume from the Dominican Republic. Hey, Keenan. He's made several very good points. One that actually speaks to me, though, is what about independent media? And that's really interesting because when I first went to an EFRA event, we had Red RC, we had Near Buggy, we had several other Just Buggy. We had a number of news outlets for RC, and we have seen them kind of shrinking. Obviously, we work very closely with Chris at Circus RC, and thank the Lord we still have Circus RC, but RC media is dwindling, and that's a real shame. But what I hope is that by us growing EFRA, growing the sport, that there will be more space and more growth again so that we can get some more independent media.
Hello, Keenan. Yes, of course. The reason to lack of media partners in the European Championships is because we don't have resources to provide to go to the races, because they need funds, or they have to provide funds from any company who support that, or even they can get funds from the website or the magazines in the past or whatever. That's the reason to create value. So if you create value in our races, maybe the industry could be interesting, or even the media could be interesting because they can get funds. But this is a playing in circles. So if we are not able to provide content value for people who are support, economically speaking, the races in some areas, this is they didn't change. They are not going to change that. So if we from EFRA side create value, so create a good atmosphere, which means that industry it's interesting, media could be interesting, and drivers could be interesting, we create the proper atmosphere to go to get more media involved in our races. That's the same. For example, I keep in mind that Neo Boogie disappeared, I think, 2 or 3 months ago. That's a shame. It's a bad thing for everybody. Not good for the competence. I think it's bad for everybody. Even when you lose somebody on the industry, it's the same.
Yeah. Philo Topman says hi. Hey, Philo. How you doing?
Hi, Philo.
Lots and lots of comments coming in. Massimiliano Masanti says Twitch is the perfect platform for an RC event.
Yeah.
Twitch.
Take notes, Matt. Take notes for next time.
Yes. I'm going to copy all these ideas and say they're mine.
Yeah. Take your iPad. Take your iPad and note everything.
Stuart Barber says, well done, guys. It looks good. A lot of people talking about working with other types of races. RCGP gets mentioned quite a lot in the comments. You know, there's lots of races that we are not involved with EFRA that are not there. You know, I think it's good for RC that they exist, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As I said before, the word cooperation, modernization, I think it could be important. Just to find the way, the point in common. The weights in common in different races are not to make money or are not to create a big business around it. This is not the way of EFRA. But we have more things in common, not just this kind of point. So always we are open to cooperate with everybody, also with the nationals, if these kind of races could benefit for the RC community. And when I say RC community, I mean federations, I mean EFRA, I mean IFMAR, and I mean local clubs. So I don't want to get, not in my mind to provide change our cooperation to create money and that's it. So no, this is not the way of EFRA. We are not profit association. We focus in the RC community. If it's benefit for the RC community, EFRA will be there. But on the other hand, we have to keep in mind that the goals will be the same. That's my concern.
Fantastic.
But of course, again, cooperation would be a good word.
Vito Garassi just says, wow. Nacho Garcia says, great job, Javi. Proud of you, brother.
Hi, Nacho. Hola. That's my partner. We meet a lot of races in my life. This is it's a kind of brother in the RC. So glad to see you here, Nacho.
So much good input from Silvio Pretaforte, who says, we'll come back stronger, Javier. Maybe Sylvia, with all when we finish the live stream, Javier, I suggest you read through the comments because I think there's so much good stuff in here.
Yeah, I didn't see the comment, but of course I will review. Actually, more or less the same time as I could see the live, the same times that like a video I did. So I did it.
You know what? Everyone who's comments both positive and negative. We hear you and we see you, and it's really important. And what you're actually doing is putting yourself forward as a candidate to be involved in a working group by showing us how much you care.
Yeah.
So both positive and negative, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, as far as we can get more people involved, more quick we can progress because more things we can do. This is something like that because. As I say many times during the live, we are non-profit association, we are volunteers. And of course, in the future, we combine the volunteers with professional companies like Control or like RC, Rising TV, or even in the future for media, addressing the tracks. Of course, we need the professionals on the project, but the core team are volunteers. So as far as we can get more volunteers, as far as we can progress more quick.
Fantastic. I think we just go for 2 more comments. As time is, hang on. As I say that, I lose the comments. That's crazy. There's been so many comments. I think what we'll do is we'll go through and answer them in the chat as well. Hello to Davide Ongaro.
Hey, Davide, how are you?
Davide is just getting started in RC. He's one of the new up-and-coming guys.
Yeah, it's a great example. Davide Ongaro, Dario Balestri, David Ronelfarg, everybody you can see on the video. So starting with kids, and this is the spirit of EFRA. You can see the same kids starting in the RC and become world championship. The video said exactly like that. And this is the spirit. This is that a great EFRA ambassadors. So people who start with the family, with the father, with the mother on the track, in the local track, supporting the local track, coming back to increasing the level, and finally they become a IFMAR world championship. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Connie Svensson, it's great to have you watching along. Connie Svensson's House of RC, they're very keen on being included in any working group for digital platforms and stuff. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, hi Connie, how are you? I like your idea. I follow that. I think we can find points in common. We're working in different areas, but okay, maybe we have to discuss different ways to work. But anyway, I'm glad to see you here and that you are able to help in the RC community.
Well, I think that sense of collaboration is a pretty good point to end on. I think it's been great to get together and just chat through and take some comments and reveal the new brand. It's so much more than just a logo, isn't it? Of course. It's this whole intention.
It's the first. Let's say the first step for us. Has been a hard year working on the background, so nobody see exactly what we did. It's a year without races. That is a shame. But on the other hand, we get profit on that time to start in that area. We started in 2019. That's the first lines on paper, and during the 2020 we work a lot to create, let's say, the body of the project and sub-project. We have 5 key projects and spread in different sub-projects, and all those sub-projects must be developed, discussed, even inside the EFRA board. We discuss everything, because after that, the EFRA board, the section chairmen, the treasurer, secretary, everybody is involved in that area. And also we have to keep our normal work. That is a challenging task, because we have to create a double work, really. And of course, as I said, everything would be on the table, but I don't know how many things could be possible or not. So as I said before, expectation and frustration. You have to keep in mind that we are going to do as better as possible, but I think that everything couldn't be done. So I don't know. So we have to focus in the benefit of the RC community. This is our goal.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, Javier. It's been great to everyone that's been watching and commenting along. I've been thrilled to read how many comments have actually got in and how many viewers. It's been fantastic.
Wow! It's amazing. I'm a bit excited to close this live and try to read the comments. Anyway, I would like to thank everybody who joined that part, because really it was important for us. So I prepared everything during the last 3-4 weeks, this kind of live. And thanks to all the federation for the support at the AGM and during the year. Thanks to IFMAR, because all the board directors in IFMAR likes the idea, and I want to support the IFMAR, starting for the president, Jeff Parker, continue for the secretary, Carlos Gomez, and all the people involved, like Frank Mosley and Sander de Graaf, and all the board directors, because for us, we are part of IFMAR, and I want to support IFMAR in any way. This is an EFRA project, but of course, we are here to offer any help that they need.
Fantastic. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been awesome. And let's do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, of course. I would like to see the video again, Matt, because it's 81 time.
Let's roll the video. See you next time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Stay safe.